everybody, it's me, MC Gamer, and today we're back inside my Zelda collection, and we're going to be doing our first ever musical highlight of the game, The Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. Here's the Japanese soundtrack they own. It's never been opened. They've actually wanted to get a second version of it, just so I could open it and look on the inside, because it looks like, I mean, just look at this box art. It's absolutely beautiful. It's official art from the game. That's that. And, of course, here is Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. I just want to set that here. Today we're going to be kind of getting our hands off of these items. We're not really going to be talking about them, but rather what is on this CD and the songs, what makes them different and unique Zelda songs and why they're so awesome. And the first thing I would like to talk about is the progressive music. Now, something that's been very, which makes Zelda Majora's Mask very different, is that this game actually features a time system in which you have to stop at a point. After 3 days, the world is supposed to end. You can fix this by going back in time, but the events that happen inside the game, the people, they know about this impending doom, and they have to adapt, and the music kind of reflects that. And so the first part I want to look at is the actual theme of the town inside Majora's Mask, Clock Town, and how it progresses through the 3 days. So let's give it a listen. Alright, so that was our first little sample of music. I hope you could hear how over time how the game becomes more dark and scary as the Skull Kid, who is wearing Majora's Mask, is coming, and the moon is getting closer. You can see that in the game as well as the time in general is getting closer. And so the music really ties that together, and that makes me really happy. The second part of this musical soundtrack I want to talk about is the maturity of the soundtrack. Zelda has always been a game for, as it says here, everyone. It's rated E for everyone. So you think, okay, well, this is a game for kids, and, you know, it doesn't really matter. Well, this game featured more mature songs. Now, I'm not talking about scary songs. We'll talk about that in just a second. But more about the songs that were more mature. The first one I want to talk about is a little bit more on the silly side. It's the silly side of mature. You know, it's still mature, though. And that is the Milk Bar. Of course, it's Nintendo. They were not going to do an alcohol bar. So their substitute is milk in this game. And so in the game, when you go to the milk bar, adults are the only ones allowed in there. You sneak in there using a mask that says that you're a member, you're an adult, and they let you in. And the music in there is quite good. So let's take a listen to the milk bar. right, so as you can see, the game kind of, it has a more mature feel to it. The brass type instruments, they give it a lot of jazz, something that you hear from an older generation, and that's something that I noticed about Majora's Mask that you may have heard a little bit inside Ocarina, but not nearly as in depth as in Majora's Mask, of course. The second part is the second one I want to talk about is about military presence. Inside Ocarina of Time, of course, you had the guards of Hyrule, and that was a big important part of the game. And the guards of Hyrule, it was mature. They were adults protecting the princess. But inside this one, you go into the mayor's office, and there are military soldiers there arguing with people of the town about what to do about this impending war that's coming. And it really hits you, the song, about how they're making these decisions that are going to affect the outcome of the world. And the song is a lot more mature, like I've said, than any other one. So let's turn off the lights again, and let's take a listen to the mayor's office. Alright, so as you can hear, the song is very military. It's very bum 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 bum. It really has that backbeat that you hear, and it makes you think things are going down, and it's up to you to solve the problems, because these guys are arguing too much to figure out any good solution, and that's an important part of this whole ordeal. Is that backbeat keeps that drumbeat, the bum 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 bum. It just keeps going and going, and you have to start making the decisions because they're obviously too riled up to figure it out. You're the hero. And what's a good fun fact is that this song was used as the first demo piece for a Majora's Mask opera. This group, I read about them on a Zelda fan website. They're actually trying to create a Majora's Mask opera, something that is it's a pretty interesting project. Just go do a YouTube search for Majora's Mask opera. Maybe I'll put a link in the description. That would be helpful. And that is something that I think is something that really shows the complexity and the maturity of the game. That out of all the games they chose, of course, Majora's Mask to make this opera out of. And I think that's a big point that I'm trying to make here. Now, the last maturity song is a little bit more scary, and it's about death. It's about the song that you hear during the last hour before the game, the world inside Majora's Mask is to end. So that's what we're going to be hearing right now, the last hour. Here you go. And we're back. So that was the last hour, and you can really feel it. There's not much. It kind of expresses how the people inside the game feel. They kind of don't have much left. It's time to just feel the end coming and accept it. of course, you as Link, Mr. Link over there, he can go back in time and he can hopefully fix the situation, which is something that's really interesting. So that's the last one. I want to talk about the mature song. I want to talk about two more. Well, yeah. So let's talk about one more song right now. First is the middle boss fight. I'm talking about this one particularly because Majora's Mask, as you know, I don't have Ocarina of Time sitting here that I can show you, but it was a direct sequel to Ocarina of Time. It was made inside the same engine and everything. However, while some people say that the music of Ocarina of Time is better, the one thing that Majora's Mask has is it improved and made the songs of Ocarina of Time sound even better. There was the ranch theme, the race theme. Everything sounded just a touch better for some reason when they touched up for Majora's Mask. But the one song that I want to highlight is the middle boss and how it differs to show that this game is its own individual title. Because a lot of people like shove it off as, you know, being part of Ocarina of Time. So here is the middle boss theme, and I will first play the Ocarina of Time version as comparison. And there you go. So you can kind of see how Majora's Mask put in a lot more horns. It felt a lot more... It felt darker, because that was what it was trying to convey. This is a darker game than Ocarina of Time. And that's something that I think they did very well. Next I want to talk about a silly song. Just one silly song before we move on to our last scary and weird song. And it's the BREMEN March. Instead of the game, of course, Majora's Mask, it says mask on it. You get a lot of masks. That is one of the big focal points of the game, is that you get tons and tons of masks. And one of them is called the BREMEN mask, and it allows you to play your ocarina and do a little bit of a march. I don't know why the mask helps. However, the chickens follow you, and it's adorable. And this song, I don't know why I wanted to share it with you, but just kind of shows that the game, while it's dark and scary, it still has that fun Zelda feel. So here you go. Okay, so as you can see, it's still a Zelda game. It still is The Legend of Zelda. Zelda may not have been in this game that much, and even in that regard, the royal crest is kind of an incorrect image to be putting up on the screen. It'd be more appropriate to have an image of Majora's Mask, or perhaps the symbol of Termina. However, it's a Zelda series, and that's what I want to make sure you could convey through the BREMEN Mask song. It's still its own Zelda game. And the last thing I want to talk about is this game is scary and weird, and I'm going to Let's Play it. Maybe not next, maybe not the next one after that, maybe not the one after that. But this game I will be Let's Playing here on my channel eventually. And the one thing that this game is known for is being scary. I'm going to save quite a bit of that scariness. I'm not going to share with you some of the even creepier songs than this one. But there's one song that you learn to play inside the game called the Elegy of Emptiness. And this song really is an elegy of emptiness. And so I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you all for watching this Zelda collection video highlighting the soundtrack of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. I hope you've enjoyed. Again, always leave me comments. Next time we're going to be highlighting literature. So tell me what you'd like to see. Would you like to see a player's guide? Would you like to see a novelization, perhaps even the manga. Tell me what you want to see, and I will highlight whatever I can find that you guys want. So everybody, here is the Elegy of Emptiness. Thank you for watching.